Well, hello everybody and welcome back to Rock Tumble with me. We are going to be moving today on to step 3 or grit 3 in our tumbling series. So we've done grit 1 and we actually ended up doing grit 1 twice. We did grit 2 and now I'm taking them off of grit 2. We're going to do a little wash cycle. Right now it's the morning, so I'll wash the rocks now for probably like 8-ish hours, come back, and then we're going to be going on to grit 3. So if you need to wash your rocks before you move on, make sure you do that now. And if you've been enjoying this series so far, make sure you give this video a big old thumbs up. And if you're new here, consider subscribing to my channel. All right, let's wash our rocks. Okay, it is time to move these bad boys on to grit 3. Now, before we can do that, we are going to put them through our soap bath. So if you've been following along, you will notice that we do this after every single grit cycle. That is to make sure that the rocks do not carry any grit from one stage to the next. I always like to rinse off the lid first. Make sure you go kind of around the edges a little bit. And I did forget a rag again. I think last week I remembered, but yeah, I forgot this week. One day maybe I'll remember every time. All right, so here's what we're looking like so far after grit 2. We'll get these poured in here. Now, like I said, I've never done these rocks before because these rocks came with my tumbler. So these are ones that are new to me, and they are a little bit thinner and a little bit more sharp. So the last time that we looked at these rocks, they did still have some sharp edges, but I just kind of think that they're going to remain sharp just because they were crushed rocks, I believe, when I got them, instead of rocks that you find like in, you know, the banks of the rivers, oops, and things like that. So we will get these all rinsed off here and then put them through their wash cycle. Now, after grit 2, you don't really see, at least I guess, I don't really see that much of a change. I think I start to notice more of a change around like grits 3 and 4 again. So the biggest change that you'll notice is from raw rocks until grit 2. And then 2 to 3, I don't really see much of a change, I feel like. And then moving them on to, oh, these are looking pretty cool, the last stages. And those changes I mainly feel with my fingers. So like right now, the rocks still feel a little bit rough, but they are smoothing out. But you'll really notice a difference, especially when you get done with the polish. They just feel like smooth as butter. It's so cool. All right, so here's what they're looking like. We're gonna put them back in our little barrel here and move them on to washing. Let's see if I can do it without spilling this time. And I really am going to need to get some more ceramic media, but it'll work for now. It's just getting really, really small. Which, hey, you know, it might be good for getting into the real nooks and crannies, I suppose, of the rocks. All right, we got them back in here. You can see that they have lost some volume from last week. So I don't think I'll add any more ceramic media. A, because I don't really have any to spare right now. And B, because it's not super duper low. I may need to come up with some sort of strategy for next week though, because I'm afraid that it will get a little bit too low. And if you have the rocks too low in the tumbler, like we'll say maybe half the barrel full or less, the rocks can end up bruising each other and bouncing off each other, leaving scratches and dents and things like that, which of course you definitely do not want. So we will see, I suppose. But let's get this back on the tumbler. I'll probably tumble this. Right now it's the morning, so I'll probably tumble this just throughout the day, maybe like 8 hours-ish. And then we will get them back off and we'll move on to grit 3. Okay, we are back, and it has been over 8 hours of these rocks tumbling in the soapy solution. So now it is time to move them on to grit 3. One of my favorite parts is seeing all the bubbles and like suds for some reason. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that just look cool? It's like satisfying. But we'll rinse this off. dump these out. You can see they needed it just by how dirty they were. And give our barrel a good rinse as well here. So that they are, oh, I forgot a rag again. I keep forgetting that. I really have to remember. I don't know why, I always forget it. But let's get these rinsed off as well. We'll dump our water here so it doesn't overflow. And they always feel so much better too. After you give them a nice, good soapy bath, they like feel smoother and softer and stuff. Okay, there we go. So, oh, I really like this one. I think I show it every time, but I just love all the colors and stuff on it. I think it looks so cool. Ooh, and a couple of these like red jaspers are turning out really good. So far, so good. Here's kind of what I'm talking about with like how thin some of these are. Like no matter how much I tumble this, it's just not going to get rid of these sharp edges. And it's gonna end up becoming so thin and so brittle that it just breaks in the tumbler. So that's kind of why I decided to move them on to the next step. Some of them aren't that thin, but there are a few that are just, yeah, like that one too, if you can see that. It's just, I don't think that sharpness is really ever gonna go away. So, we'll move them on. Won't stress about it too much. And get all that in here. All my itty bitty bits of ceramic media. And, oh yeah, that ceramic media is getting really low. I'm gonna have to figure out something for next week because I'm out of ceramic media. It's being used in this barrel and it's also being used in another barrel that I'm working on, another video I'm really excited about. It's kind of an idea that came to me and I really hope you like it because it was kind of an experiment. But let's take our grit here, again using the polyplastics. This is step 3, pre-polish. This is 500 grit silicone carbide. And remember, as the grits get smaller, they do get more fine. So you just want to be careful that you're not breathing this powdery stuff in. So we will take 1 and 2 level-ish scoops here. As you can see, gets the tablespoon nice and dirty. So we'll have to clean that off as well because you don't want your tablespoon to transfer grit either. Ragnar Rocks from his channel was commenting the last time we did this and talked about how you can get like a couple different ones of these. So like one for each step. So one for step 1, one for step 2, step 3. So I might have to do that because then you don't even have to worry about it transferring that way. So thank you for that, Ragnar Rocks. And then this here is kind of what it looks like. Looking good. Like I said, that level, that line kind of where it's at is getting pretty low. So I do know that I need to do something about that for the next time. But for right now, we'll just leave it as is. It should be okay for one more tumbling cycle. Get this back on. And now we get to put these on for another week. And then move them on to polish already, which is kind of exciting. Polish usually you put on for 2 weeks. So this will go on for 1 week and then we get to move on to the polish. Exciting! Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you liked this video. We are going to be moving on to grit 4, which is the polishing cycle after this. So next week, make sure you tune in for the polish. I'm pretty excited. All right, if you liked this video, make sure you give it a big old thumbs up. And if you're new here, consider subscribing to this channel. I make new videos like this every single week, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!